guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I invite you to click that like button and follow me on my creative journey. Today we are going to do a earring DIY. I posted these on social media and a lot of people had some questions and wanted to know how to make their own. So I'm putting together this video which I am excited to do. It's going to be two parts. The first one will be for the earrings, and then the second one will actually be for the backing. These earrings are very lightweight and they're covered with a iron-on vinyl, which I thought was super genius. Shout out to the YouTuber who did a demo on that. All right, guys, so let's get started and I will start to tell you the supplies that you'll need. First, you'll need a container of findings, some jump rings, as well as some earring hooks. You'll also need to have some jewelry tools. I think these are called needle nose pliers. I'm not sure. I did get these in a kit. I'll leave a link in the description bar down below where you can purchase your own. And you'll also need to have a pair of scissors so you can do just a little bit of cutting. And then you'll need some faux leather material. I grabbed this packet from Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description down below. All of these were included in the packet. I did use some of them. So the earrings that you saw previously, those were actually, they started out like this before I cut them apart. The size is 8.2 by 6.3 inches. And I felt like this was the perfect size. All right, so let me show you guys what each of these look like individually. They have a canvas back, each and every one of them. And so that's what we cover up later on in the video with the iron on. This red is so pretty. I cannot wait to make something with that red. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And since this is the last one and it's cute, we'll use this one for today's DIY. So the first thing we want to do is to attach our iron-on. I'm using the Cricut Everyday Iron-On, and you definitely want to pay attention to what the settings are when you are using it. What I like to do with the wrapper when I'm opening up my vinyl is to roll it back up, stick it back in the tube. Then that way, when I grab it out, I know exactly what it is. I know if it's actually iron-on or if it is actually a vinyl. Now, getting this tape off is a headache, but once we get it off, then we'll get to rolling. All right, so now that we got it, what I am going to do is just to measure it up. I don't want to unroll the whole thing. I want to keep it together. So I'm just going to measure it up evenly, and then I will take my scissors and then I will cut all around it, and then I will do the iron-on process. I honestly have no idea why this is going in slow motion right now. I did not plan this, but I'm not trying to fool with it because I'm using a new program and I recorded this on my camera. So here we go. So it's pretty much evenly measured out with the faux leather, and then we will get it all set up with the Cricut and the iron on, and then we'll get started with cutting out our earring pattern. So I do have a Cricut heat press, and I am using the heating pad when I'm doing this process. And I also have a piece of fabric. It is 100% cotton. I was actually supposed to use it for a mask, but right now it's just going to be a cover for me to iron on because I didn't want to put it directly on the top. Now, when you're ironing on, normally when you're doing a shirt iron on, the shiny side is down. But for this, we want the shiny side up. Then I'm going to cover it. And then I'm going to pull up the heating guide for you guys. I'm using it on my phone, but you can also use it on the website. The heating guide will tell you for the type of material you are using, what your temperature should be and how long you should have it on for. So here we are going to select the iron on light. That's for the heat transfer material. We'll just select it and hit done. And then we'll go to the base material. Now here I clicked corkboard, and which is not 100% true or right. I click the clipboard and it's going to give us a temperature and a duration to what we are supposed to put it on. Oh yeah, and I also clicked that I was using the easy press mat. So it says 115 and 15 seconds, but that's not correct. I went back and looked at the first time I did it, and I actually used the canvas slash cotton, I believe it was. I used that, and it tells you 340 degrees and 30 seconds, and that worked a lot better. All right, so this is my little baby, my little heat press. And as you can see, when I lift it lifted up together. So it worked. So I have made myself a little cheat sheet so that I can pull the top of the iron on off. And then once we get that off, we can get started. So here is my Cricut mat. Only thing I can tell you is it's the pink one. I know some of them are heavier than others, but the pink one I actually bought by accident. I've seen some people use a purple one, but I bought this by accident and I refuse to throw it away, so I'm actually going to use it. We're going over to the Cricut app where we are going to create our earring. Now you can do any shape earring that you want. There may be some in the Cricut design space. I have the paid version of Cricut, although I believe you can do a teardrop off of the free version of Cricut. Um, if you have the free version and you are or aren't, let me know in the comments down below so I know for future reference when other people do ask. But and you can see I have the back template next to it. But we're going to click New Project. And then once our canvas pops up, we can get started. It's moving kind of slow today for some reason. All right, so here we go. So first of all, even though a teardrop is a shape, we don't want to click shape. It is not preset in the shapes. We want to click images. So you'll just go up 2 rows, click images, and you'll get a search box where we can actually type in right there that we want a teardrop. All right, so I clearly missed it on the top row, and I went searching through all these other things, but it ends up repeating itself. So I found one. Now, with Cricut Design Space, you can see something in one size and you can go in and change the size. So even though that wasn't the exact shape that I was going to use, we'll be able to alter it. Now, because I put leaf teardrop, I'm getting all these pictures of leaves to fish through, and that was a headache. But once you find what you're looking for, you got it and you can save it. Then you'll always be able to come back to it. See, there it is again, and it was on the first page. Totally missed it. But you'll be able to save it and go back to it as many times as you want. So we'll click that and we'll click customize or make it. I forgot which one it is. I can't see it. And then it will appear on our canvas. Now, sometimes the images will appear larger than what you want, and you just have to scale it down. And then sometimes it will appear at the size that you that is more manageable. And what you can do to adjust the size is click this lock button right here. If you know what size you want, then you can actually type it into the measurements at the top, or you can use the green four-way arrow to widen it or shorten it. So I kind of already know where the measurements are that I want. So I'm going to start there and then I will play with it. I'm not a whole big earring type of person. So I used anywhere from 2.1 to 2.4 as far as the length. And then I just picked a width that I felt looked according. So I'm just going to play with it right here. You'll be able to see the measurements at the top if you want to use these exact measurements. And that's pretty cute, but it also looks a little too big. So I'm just going to turn it around because I want it to be facing the way that I'm actually going to make the earring. And so here I'm going to play with the numbers again. Sometimes I play entirely too much, as you'll see in a second. Yep, see what I did? But no worries. You can always go back. Sorry. You can always go back and change them. It's not permanent. All right, so that's kind of looks good, but I'm still going to play with it. Just a little. What I also suggest is if you already have dangling earrings, measure the earrings that you have if you like the way the length is. Measure those out, and then you have a great example for a measurement to put on your canvas. I'm not a dangly type girl, so this part for me was a struggle. And then once you find the size that you want, you can click that lock button to lock it in. Now you still can move it around the size a little bit by using the right side, the arrows, but they will move together. The sizes will move together as far as the length as well as the width when you do it that way. When you unlock it, you can change them both individually to what you want. You can click this green button over here to go to the make it. But of course, I'm still playing with it. And you saw when I did that, it moved everything together. So now we're going to make it, and it's going to pull it onto a mock mat. All right, so here is where we're actually going to duplicate it because we have two ears. We definitely want to make sure we have two for each set. So I'm going to make a few here. I'm going to move it over from the actual edge just in case if the cutting is off. And then on the left hand side, I can put how many teardrops that I actually want. So I'm going to go with 8. So that'll be 4 pairs of earrings. And then I'll click that apply button. They will appear on the mat, and then we can arrange them any way that you want. So if you're using a piece of material that you have already started using, you can definitely design it to fit the piece that you have, which I think is really cool with Design Space. All right, so I got a little flashing lights here. So what you guys missed was, if you can look on the canvas on the left hand side, I had already started this. But what I forgot to do was to put the washi tape on the edges to keep holding it down, because as it rolls, it can get stuck in the roller, which it did. And I totally forgot to put washi tape on the end. The blade will cut through it. So no worries if you use it. I just put it on the edge. And because it got jammed, I actually had to start it all over from the very beginning. Well, not the beginning, but from like the computer beginning. And then once I did all of that, then we were good to go. All right, then we push that blink and see. And then we should be ready to go to cut. It doesn't take long to cut, which is good. And I'm just doing a little press to make sure. And I almost made another boo-boo. You saw it just slip back out. Doesn't take long to cut at all. And luckily for me, it actually cut in the same exact space. Now, what I do notice already is that my cut is not clean. I can see ragged edges, which means I did not clean off the needle prior to doing this project because I've been doing so many earrings. It's always smart to clean off the tip of your needle so that you're making sure that you're getting a clean cut and so that it is cutting all the way through. Now, my cut that I selected, for some reason, that footage got deleted, was a shimmer leather at 1 mm. So when you're putting it on your custom, that knob on the right hand side on your custom, you're going to pick shimmer leather at 1 mm, and that will give you the cut that you need. All right, and so it's ready to come out. And yeah, I think I was right. With the ragged edges, I don't believe that the cut went all the way through. And guess what? Not every project will be perfect. You will learn that as you go along. But this is not a total loss. All is not lost. I can just cut around it since it gave me my starter. And I'll be able to use my scissors for that. Yeah, I slowly peeked, but I know it didn't go through and it did not. But it's okay. I am just going to grab some sharp small scissors and I'll do a cut out. I'll just do one pair of earrings. I'll do the rest off camera, but I'll show you guys the one pair of earrings. And I apologize, I did not give you guys the best view. Using my new camera, I have to get used to the angles. It doesn't have a window for me to actually look through. It's always easier for me to look through my phone. But I'm trying something new, trying to level up. So this will be my test run project. So as you can see, there was a little opening and I'm just going to cut right around where the Cricut already cut and get through these two pairs of earrings. Now, what I did notice is I did not have to do a full cut because the blade from the scissor was actually starting to cut the fabric. So it was already like I don't know what you want to call it, pre-perforated, I guess. So it's kind of like a perforated thingamabob. And I'm just going to trim around the sides just to make it even. All right, now let's just get one more cut out and then we can go through the final steps. All right, so we have our two leaf earrings. That is the front. And then what we need to do is put some holes in it. So we'll put the holes at the top, close enough to get our rings through, and that's the back. And again, these earrings are for me. They're not going to be for a customer. I'm going to pull out a tool that punches holes through leather. It's a leather puncher. And I'm going to show you guys the packaging right here. So it's called Real Leather Crafts. It shows you the dimensions of the holes it punches, and it is a leather punch. And I purchased this from Joann Fabrics. It was not in the jewelry aisle, it was in the notions aisle. So back where the sewing needles are and the grommets and the elastic, that's where I found this apparatus. All right, so I'm using the smaller one here to punch a hole through. And I do have other hole punchers, but because I was following somebody else, I fell down that rabbit hole and purchased this and using a coupon, of course. So it turned out to only be about $8 using my coupon. And so I'm just going to lay it up here on the base. Now, most people, I think, only use one part of the earring, but I'm going to actually use both to punch my hole through. And because I've already did the iron on, it makes it a little bit more slipperier. So I am going to clip it with a binder clip to hold it in place, and then I will punch my hole. And that's just me. You don't have to do that if you don't want. It just keeps it more stable for me. And then I'll just take my little poker and poke the holes through the rest of it. And just to push it out, and there's the hole. Now we're going to take our findings, we're going to get our jump rings and put it through the hoop. And this is the last part, guys. And the hoops are really tiny. So I had purchased 6 millimeters in the beginning, which was too big. So I am estimating that these could possibly be a 3 or 4 millimeter um, jump ring. So you want to use a smaller one so you're not drawing so much attention and doesn't have so much room to move around. And then these are the hooks we're going to hook them to. And then once we put these on, we're done. So here's where you're going to need your tools. And we are going to, sorry, I'm going to pull this up a little bit. We are going to take our jump ring. We're going to open them up. We are not going to pull them apart, but we're going to pull them outward. I'm going to show you. So you use one plier to hold and one plier to maneuver. And I just pulled it apart. Sorry, it's blurry. I have not yet learned positioning with the camera, but I'm going to do this again and hopefully it'll come out better the next time. So as you saw, I just looped the earring through, and then now I'm going to loop the earring loop through, and then I'm going to close it back up. There we go. It finally did a focus for us. And then we're just, there we go, putting it back in place And our earring is done. And that was how I made the earring. Again, it's lightweight, it dangles, it moves freely, it'll blow in the wind. So here is our second earring. Pulling it apart again. Looping it through. Sorry guys, I did the best that I could. And then I just put the hook on and then I just closed it up. Hopefully you got the gist. If you have any questions, just leave them down below and I'll try to walk you through it as much as I can. All right, and there we have it. We have our two earrings. And they weren't really hard to make, even though I had a lot of technical difficulties, but they weren't. So let me know what you think. If you have any problems, questions, concerns, leave them in the comment section down below. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button to follow me for all of my upcoming videos and follow me on social media as well. See ya.